Good afternoon. It is September 28th, 2021, and today we really had a big move down, and I don't think it was two measured moves, because if you start up here, we made a move well past this. So yeah, we moved well past that. So just a very strong downtrend day, and you really should have had plenty of opportunities. There's plenty of aggressive trades in here, and there's some trades that you probably could have entered on, but I can't because it's not it's not with the rules. But plenty of opportunities, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. In the overnight, we had this big move down, and you can see we came here, we broke the channel down and made two legs to a new low and pulled back and make another move down here. And now it's just looking, I had this congestion drawn here. I thought this looked like two-tiered congestion, two-tiered range, like up here. And then it looked like there was a level of support down here. So you could have been playing this as a range that was making higher lows, but really we broke down into this range, so clearly the bias was down. And so yes, this is a valid level of support, but this was definitely a range with a downward bias. So anyway, we get this low and don't quite match this low. You get a first entry, second entry. I like that because, and I entered on this because it's close enough to this level of resistance. So I like that. It is aggressive because it didn't hit that level of resistance, but I do like that. And then that forms a pretty nice leg down. You can see that that's a channel pretty clearly. And that channel breaks. And because that was off this level of support, and it's a higher low, I think you can go long there. We're not too sure what's going to happen for the day anyway, and this does look like a range, so you can be playing it both ways at this point. That gets you a nice move up, and then we get this move up, and that's a first entry, and that's actually a second entry. So I'm not too sure. I would say I probably mark this as aggressive because that's 3 bars lined up at this point. But you can see that traps those traders long. And it's also, not only is it a second entry short, but it's also a lower high after our breakout of the range. So if you didn't like that, you get failed second entry long opportunity, first entry, second entry, boom, right here. And this is a failure right here, but this is another opportunity. This was off of the level of support down here. That's off these lows. It comes off here too, but that was aggressive because it's counter trend. So you get this failure, good move. This is a first entry. And then we get this second entry. So that's a second entry short off the trend line. That trend line holds, and that's a really good entry, and that might be, you might be able to hold that for the rest of the day if you enter right here. Then you get this is a fail. I looked at this as a failed second entry long. You get this double top right here, so first entry, failed second entry, but this is going into the lows, so that's aggressive, and it's far from the EMA, but it is a failure. And then all this is just too far from the EMA. Unfortunately, we make this low. You get a first entry, second entry. We had the break of this channel, so this is aggressive, and it's not. I think you should probably take that trade, because when we make that steep leg down and we break into this range and then we start going lower, you're probably looking for a measured move. So yes, I did mark this as aggressive, but I do like that entry. And so we come down again, first entry, failed second entry long. I didn't mark that. I think you can go long there. And if you don't catch that, go long, go short here. I meant you can go short here. If you don't catch that, that's a failure. You get an opportunity to go short right here on a second entry short. And again, this is probably one you can ride all the way down because you don't get a scalp on this bar, I don't think. And then this bar doesn't come back to touch your break-even stop. So I think you can probably get a runner on that. We come down here. Looks like we make a double bottom, first entry, second entry off that trend line again. Take that. And we get the real break. Move to a new low. Looks like 2 legs down. This is just too congestive. We break up into this congestion, but you know after some big moves down like that, the bias is still down. So we form this congestion, and when you make that triple top right there, and that's I think that's 1 tick. That looks like a textbook trap. Literally, this is a page out of Mac's manual. When you get that first touch, second touch, then it goes 1 tick higher, and it's right at the top of our congestion. That's a great entry, and you should be able to get a very nice move out of that. Maybe almost an 8-point runner. But if you don't catch that, I caught this second entry failure, second entry long failure right here. Boom. And this is another one that you could ride all the way down. I don't see anything in here. This looks like a new high. It's not, though. Oh, yeah. So we make a new high right here. First entry. This is our failure right here. You could argue for this one even. But I don't like it because this looked like a break to me and 2 legs down. That's why I didn't like that. But you could definitely argue for this one to be an entry. And this inside bar, I mean, on a strong day like today, if you're going to take inside bars ever, I think it's a day like today, which is a strong downtrend, and this would be your inside bar, signal bar. But your stop needs to go above this one. And this is all too far away from the EMA. We get a break and make a double top here. This is a first entry, second entry. This looks like a second entry, so that's what I probably looked at here. This is a second entry. You might take that too, because that's the true second entry. I just didn't like it because this looks like 1 leg up. But you come here, I like this entry here. First entry, so we get this new high, first entry, second entry, failure. I took this trade, and you scalped out, but I don't like how large this signal bar is. I don't like that. I'm trying to avoid signal bars that are larger than 12 ticks, and that's 17 ticks, so I really do not like that. Here we get a first entry, second entry short right here, so not a great signal bar. First entry, this is a new high, so first entry, failed second entry long right here. Lower high right here, you could probably enter that too if you want. And this is like a new high, so first entry, second entry failure. I'm expecting that to test these lows, so a lot of entries in here. Here we bounce off the midline of the range I had marked. So what I did here is I just drew the range because we're going back and forth, as you can see, across the EMA. I drew off this low and these highs, and that seemed to be pretty accurate. We bounce from this midline, make a move down, and we come up first entry, second entry short, right at that level of resistance. And you could enter there. You could probably enter here on a lower high. And first entry, second entry failure. So the reason I didn't like this closes above the EMA. But if you want to take this lower high and second entry short, first entry, second entry, you'd enter below the EMA. So, and look, consecutive lower highs. I like that. I like that setup a lot, given the context. This is the second entry, failed second entry long, but this is too far from the EMA. but on a day like today, you might take that. This is a second entry short, but the signal bar is no good. And this is a new high, first entry, failed second entry long right here, a little ways away from the EMA, so it's aggressive. Then we start moving up, but we didn't know that at this point. So look, we bounce off of the level of resistance that I had marked, okay? And we get a first entry. After we get that bounce, we get a first entry, second entry. So I like that. But then we start to trend higher. You get an overshoot, and that leads to a break. And so you might think about taking a first entry, failed second entry short. And so why doesn't that work? Well, we have this overshoot that leads to a break, okay? So we don't know what's going on here. Another reason, we just get this break. We're expecting a move to a new high. So did we get that new high? No, we did not. But we attempted a new high. So when you get that first entry, second entry short, I think you can go lower there. Because look at all that rejection. It's near the level of resistance. Something to think about. This is a first entry, but it looks like either this was an attempt to go higher or this was an attempt to go higher. So you might take that. First entry, second entry short, signal bar is no good. This is also the first entry. Oh, no. I don't know why I marked this really. Oh, because of the inside bar. It looks like a first entry, second entry short with an inside bar. You might take that inside bar. Here we get a really strong leg up. And this is actually a first entry, second entry short at that level of resistance. So I like that move. I like going short there. But this turns out to be an uptrend. And we hit our measured move. You can see over there. But price is reversed again. So we start trending up. And so I had this range marked, okay? And I showed my measured moves up here, and so when we hit that measured move and make a double top and we're that far away from the EMA, you might go short there. But you get what looks like a second entry long here. You might go long there. That's actually a double top, so that's actually a first entry. So I'm going to delete that. Then when we make this triple top, you might go short there too. Only problem is we haven't had a break of this channel, this upward channel, so it's aggressive. And we get a first entry, second entry long here. I'm not going to be going long on a day like today, but that is following the rules off the EMA. Look at all that rejection off the trend line. So yeah, but once we get that break and you get a first entry, second entry, failed second entry long with that bearish, I like that entry. I chickened out just because I was I entered and I chickened out and got out at break even because I wanted to protect my simulated capital, but that's a good entry. And if you want to take this lower high, I like the setup here too. It's also a failed breakout of congestion, so there's plenty of reasons to like these entries. These are too far from the EMA. First entry, second entry, you might go short there, but it's pretty far from the EMA. This looks like a triple bottom. But here, what I liked about this is we have matching highs right here. Boom. You see that right there, right there. You might even go short here, but it's a third entry, I think. But I think you might go short here because it looks like it's off the trend line, and there's a lot of selling today. So I like that. You might go short there. Looks like a yeah, that's a second entry short. And we get this overshoot, and that leads to a break. And you might go short here. It looks like off the trend line, first entry, second entry. But that's what I saw for today. A lot of good price action. If you followed the rules today, and I wanted to point out, there were a couple opportunities where if you went long on a second entry above the EMA, it would have worked out. Like right here, first entry, second entry. It works out. First entry, second entry. It works out. So if you follow the rules your bottom line is going to improve big. So let's take a look at the trades I took. Yesterday was a mess. I took way too many trades. Really wasn't a mess though. I did well, and I don't know. Let me not talk about that. Let me just focus on this. So second entry short. Okay, bias is down. It's near a level of resistance, so I'm okay with this trade. Is it aggressive? Slightly. Here I was aggressive again and took a long, but this looked like a level of support. Okay, so I'm okay with that. I entered on a limit order as well, so I like that strategy given the context of entering on the limit order. And then I just knew to short the heck out of this thing. So we get a first entry, failed second entry long. I really like that. Great entry. Alright, what did we do here? This is a failure as well. Failed second entry long. First entry, second entry. Here's what I wish I had seen in real time before entering this was doji, doji, doji. All overlapping. That's congestion. And we're not supposed to enter failures in congestion. But we got a scalp out of it, and it is a very good signal bar. So here we get another first failed second entry long. I like this entry. Looks like I entered on a limit order. Nothing wrong with this entry. Okay, and I think the remaining entries were just break even. So I really should have just been protecting my simulated profits here. And yes, this is a first entry, second entry short off of resistance. However, I entered this after a scalper's profit had been reached, and I entered on a really good limit order. But I was just like, no, let me get out of break even because, you know, I started getting nervous with these bars. But that's a great entry. Had I seen this in real time, I would have taken it because that's a second entry short off of resistance. Lower high right here. Another lower high right here. Great entries. Okay, and another break-even entry. First entry, failed second entry long. I really like this. Look at how bearish that is. I should have, I got out of break-even because I was nervous. And look, another pretty good limit order. Pretty darn good limit order. But I was just nervous. Had to get out at break-even. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, had a good day. Had a good day today and yesterday. Hopefully I can continue that. I hope everyone else had a great day. God bless you all, and we'll be back to do it tomorrow.